Is this for past clients? Current clients?
Yeah, all past clients. Actually, also other agents that I've really had great deals with. And yesterday on 5/5, guys, it's so exciting. I did my last transaction to get my 6-time icon. So I will officially be announced as 6-time icon next month. I'm so excited.
Congratulations.
That is very cool.
It's like awesome. So I'm super excited to be doing this panel with you guys again. This is one of my favorite things. And, it's like we all know each other before we actually know each other. So it's so cool. So hopefully Andrew's here. He's our
I'm
moderator.
Here.
Yay. He sent us chat. Thank you for sending us questions this week too, Andy. Appreciate that.
Having a little bit of world problems here, so just give me a minute here to get caught up and
Sure.
get my place set, and we'll be good. I'm actually trying to get to workplace chat so we could start off with questions. But it took me forever just to get to workplace chat. Anybody want to start me off with the first question while I'm logging up?
Sure. Your first question was, how do you track your business?
Yeah, and I was looking with tracking business too. It's just, I wanted this to be a lot about productivity, this meeting. So if you want to start us off with that one, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, sure. How do I track my business? I'm probably kind of a maverick in how I track my business. Mine is all Sphere. So everything I do is a referral from someone else. And it just makes it so nice because I seem to have that introduction, or somebody will call and ask me to do a favor. Would you do this favor for me? Sure. Don't always expect to get paid for the favor, and that sets me up for they always remember me the next time. So in tracking my business, it's literally all Sphere based. There's no other way for me to track it than basically Sphere. I can track it down to who sent them to me and so forth, but I'm 100% Sphere.
So when you say, when I'm thinking tracking business, I am looking at that second part of what you said is, how do you track, where your business is coming from, how it's coming from? For example, I do mine right in QuickBooks under my commissions. When I get a commission, drag it down to Business Network International, even members of there, if it's a lender that specifically, because if that lender referred 10 deals to me that year, I want to know that. I want to know where my business is coming from and how I track that.
Everything I have in my phone. So if you look in my phone, I do a lot of referrals even within EXP agents and other agents from different brokerages across the country. So my closing yesterday was a referral from a Sotheby's agent out of California. So her parents, and so I know exactly who it is. I put their contact in there and I put referral by da-da-da-da-da. So everything's in my phone. I'm very, that's my CRM. If I were to ever lose my phone or anything, I think I would probably freak out. But I do have an assistant that then takes it and tracks it and puts it into a spreadsheet. I'm not that spreadsheet person. I definitely have no S and C in my world. I am D and I, almost 100%. So that S and C are maybe, I think they were each less than 20%. So that's not my forte. So thank God I have other people who've stepped up in my life and said, hey, you need me as your assistant so I can take care of this. So I have an assistant who does all that.
Okay. And what market are you in? I forgot to ask you,
oh, sure.
So everyone knows exactly where you're from, who you are, all of that.
Oh, sure. I'm Vanessa Nunez. I am in Austin, Texas area, but I actually work the Hill Country and all the way up to Dallas to San Antonio, and as far as Houston and a little bit over, because I also do farm and ranch. So when you do farm and ranch, you just have to have a wide range. So.
Great. Here. Who else is up on stage here for the icon?
I can chat. It's Marla.
Hey, hi, Marla.
Yeah, hi. I'm Marla Jansen. So I'm in Saskatchewan, Canada, right in the center kind of right of the whole country. I've been selling real estate for 18 years, and I've was with Century 21 prior. I've now been with EXP for 2.5 years, and I am a 2-time ICON award winner here with EXP. When you get on the question, Andrew, of tracking business, I think like that's my thing. I used to track it years ago. I've been in the business 18 years, so it is a long time. I used to do different tracking systems back then, but we didn't even have the computer systems that we have now. The company I worked with before, I had them track it. So every year, I think it is really important to track that business to see where it has come from. It changed a lot. I used to do these kiosk shifts. I used to do open houses. Building a business years ago, it was a lot of work, right? To build the referral business. After I was about 5-6 years into the business, I was pretty much 80% referral based. Now I would say I'm about a 95% referral based. There's still about 5% of business that just comes straight from, online leads and that sort of thing. I don't pay an online generation system or anything like that for my leads because I have built my business so big already prior to that. But I do have an assistant as well. That was one thing that I did switch over once I was with the EXP. I did hire an assistant, and they do track all that. So I am always, even if someone contacts me, of course, where did that referral come from? Making sure I'm, grateful and showing gratitude to that person for passing my name on. But also if someone's come from some sort of online system, where did that come from? And just to track that, because I'm also part of an organization here. It's called TrustedSaskatoon.com. It's a lady that started up. It's about 10 years. I've been with them as well, where they promote local businesses, and there's only 3 per category. So there's only 3 realtors in there. And they do kind of checks on you. You have to adhere to certain qualities and standards of guarantees. So I do get some through that system as well. They do a lot of marketing and different things. So they'll have like 3 lawyers, 3 contractors, 3 window companies, that sort of thing. But that's kind of how I run things. But I do look at those numbers. They have changed a lot over the years, especially as technology changed, kind of real estate, how we do things changed. I have seen them change, but I do think it is really important, especially for younger agents, like not younger per se, but newer agents in the business, to really know where that is coming from. Because sometimes it is shocking. I know years past, it was like, I didn't realize, wow, I actually turned so many people over from open houses into closed leads.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was in BNI chapter for 20 years until it disbanded. And I'm not a morning person. So every year when it came to renewal time, I'm like, I don't want to get up so early. But then I looked at the numbers and I'm like, oh, I have to. It's my most important client, basically, because of how much business that group generated for me. Tim, how about you?
Andrew, what group was that again?
What was that?
What group was that again?
Group?
You said you were in a group that produces a lot of business.
BNI, Business Network International.
Okay.
That's, really hard to get involved with that organization unless you start a brand new chapter from scratch, because the realtor position, they only allow 1 person per category in those chapters. And so they can have a commercial real estate agent and a residential real estate agent, but only 1 residential agent, and they're always taken one of the first positions that are always taken. But it's certainly the referral type organizations that only allow 1 person or a limited number are certainly fantastic organizations.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Let me introduce myself, Tim Fiebig. I'm from the Bay Area of California, the East Bay, and I have been in real estate almost 40 years. This will be my 3rd year ICON. I just passed my cap and qualified last year. How I track my business is I'll put my contact information in the chat box as well. Hopefully the other icons on stage will do the same. How I track my business is I use a spreadsheet. I have a bookkeeper that comes in once or twice a month and analyzes my numbers and keeps everything in QuickBooks and then does spreadsheets outside of QuickBooks showing me where my income came from. And I had just several categories where it comes from, and that's either farming or marketing, past clients or sphere of influence. I have an associate agent that works with me, so some of that business comes from our split. And then I have referrals, and then I log where that referral came from, whether it was a referral through a past client or a sphere of influence or a lender or someone else. And then what we do is then we analyze how much I spend on each category. So, for instance, if it's farming and marketing, how much I spent and then how much I earned. And then is it worth it to do that? And then the other areas as well. So that's how I track my business.
Okay. And who hasn't spoken yet on this? I can't remember.
Me.
Okay.
So my name is Luann Shikasho, and I'm actually surprisingly close to Tim, geographically, but I don't know Tim. So Tim, we need to get to know each other. I am in Sacramento. I'm super envious of Vanessa doing her 6th icon because I just capped for my 6th time, and now I've got those 20 transactions in front of me with the market shifting kind of going, oh man. All right, let's go, babies. 6th one coming up. But we are feeling a little bit of a market shift. I will say that I track my business through a basic Excel spreadsheet and done that for years and years after getting that from a coach years ago. So I also know where my business is coming from. I probably need new and improved systems. I'd love to hear more from Tim about who he's using to come in a couple times a month to help him with that.
Fantastic. I didn't introduce myself really. I am an icon, first year icon. I've been with EXP for a year and a half. And I'm also a managing broker. That's why I came over to EXP, is to be a managing broker. In Minnesota, we have 1,300 agents over Minnesota and 2 brokers right now, although we will be getting another one as well. And that's my main job. So, but I love what I do. So I work nights and weekends and crazy hours and things of that nature. I do have an assistant. I do have a small team. I do track my business. Like I mentioned before, I track every dollar that comes in, because a dollar that comes in is much more important to me than a lead, for example. Where I'm getting the most leads isn't very important. It's where I get my dollars. So I actually have my accountant subcategorize all my commissions so that I can look at the end of the year and see where it's coming from, where I need to improve on, things of that nature. But I don't do a lot of the other things that I could be doing for tracking. So I've hired a new company that's actually cultivating my database and my leads, because I don't have time to do all that, being a managing broker. And they are helping me track my business as well, which is going to be a little bit better than the way I've been doing it in the past. Why don't we go around the room and talk about what we're doing differently this year? More than we doing differently that has helped you improve your numbers from last year. It's a really hard question too, because the year has been so different. Vanessa, how do you think about that, or your answer to that?
I transitioned my business from really being mostly centric. I always did Austin and kind of just like the surrounding and outer areas, but I really pushed into 8 different MLSs and really went to more land and more development deals, like where I'm putting together right now with another EXP agent a $10 million ranch that will end up being divided up. We won't see the proceeds from it for a couple of years during the entitlement, but I just shifted my business to say, okay, what is it that I want to do, and what are the kind of people I want to be dealing with? So I just really shifted to take advantage of land, and I understand land. I have a degree in architecture and interior design. So when I come in from that aspect, I've had builders come to me afterwards and say, we've never had an agent literally go through the process and be actually the designer with their clients. They just complimented me on how much stuff I've taken off the plate of like an actual custom builder, not your D.R. Hortons and Lennar and, all of those like kind of track home builders, but the true custom. So I've really shifted a lot of my business there. And so when I buy the land, maybe we're buying the land this year, but we could be building the next year or the year after. So I set up, because it's usually a 1 to 2 year process in building. So I definitely have shifted in that direction, and it upped my numbers last year by almost 7 million by doing that. This year, if everything comes to fruition, will already have hit the goal that I set for myself by August 1st. So, and I'll still have a few more months to, go past that. So if everything comes to fruition, that's under contract.
Fantastic. Marla, what about you? What have you done to change your business around to increase your business from last year?
So here our market is very, very strong, like it is in a lot of other places right now. So things are going a bit crazy, multiple offers, competing offers, well over list price. I think I've shifted this year a bit more of letting go of control of my buyers. So I've always been, even though I've done this a long time, I sell quite a few homes. Like I sell between, 70 to at least 100 homes a year. And that's been ongoing for many years. So I've just decided as of last year, I needed to take out some of my buyer clients. So that's kind of been my switch this year, is handing that off to different people on kind of my team. I do work with a builder as well. That's what's kind of exciting, Vanessa, is I actually have a degree in fashion design, and I have a lot of knowledge and passion in regards to design. So I work with a builder as well. And so I do a lot of, we're doing new constructions we're taking on right now this year, which is different, as we launched a whole development in our city. So before I had condo projects and development projects, like a 110 unit project I'm working on and a 95 unit project, but now we'll be developing a whole area of the city. So it'll be the multifamily, the parks, the townhomes, the apartment condos, plus houses, from 600 kind of up to 1.4 million type thing. So with that big shift in business too, I have started to just delegate more of my buyers out. I'm only taking on really close buyers, and then I start with them, but I also use my team and pass out a lot of my buyer leads now to them.
Marla, that's super cool. I'll have to chat with you on some of your development stuff.
Oh, yes, that'd be great.
Yeah, that sounds great. Hey, Tim, how about you?
Yes, probably a couple things. I try to reinvent myself every few years and, create new marketing material and make sure that it's up to the date and, in regards to logos or messages and that sort of thing. We drop off pre-list packages, and I send out market reports with statistics on the local market and what it's doing. So that's probably what I've done differently. I've also got into, maybe investing more in passive income and being a part of partnerships and putting together partnerships for that to happen. So I'm thinking about the future and just want to replace my commissions with income that comes from other sources.
Fantastic. Luann.
Okay. What am I doing differently this year? Well, this year's a little bit of a interesting year. The beginning of the year was so crazy busy, and I started using buyers agents more and kind of stepping back from the buyers. And just since the beginning of the year till now, it's kind of switched up a little and gotten a lot quieter. So I've come back and started doing a few of the buyers again, working with a few of those, because I am tracking and looking at my numbers thinking, okay, so my numbers have really changed since the beginning of the year. Capped in a month, but then after that, it was a little bit slower. We were taking all of the overflow from the Bay Area. I think that our prices raised got so high. They went up 10% in the first 2 months of the year and had gone up maybe 35% the year before that. So we were up 50% in just a year, basically. And I think with the interest rates going up, there's a little bit of people staring deer in the headlights right now. But I also am using local service ads for the first time ever. So we'll see how that turns out. It's been a couple months and I've moved myself up from about number 30 on the group of, if you Google Sacramento real estate agents, I was like 26, 30, whatever. And in the last probably 3 weeks, I've moved up to number 1 because I actually am answering my phone, which I didn't do all the time before. If I didn't have the number in my phone, I would pretty much just ignore it. And when I had a listing, I'd have 100 phone calls in a day. So I would just ignore it. But it's the temperature has changed quite a bit. I just put a listing up yesterday and I haven't had a phone call yet. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Actually, when I moved over to EXP, because I'm a managing broker, all my time went to managing broker duties and my business dropped off dramatically. I brought a bunch of business over with me, and when that dried up, because I wasn't contacting my clients as much, my business dropped off dramatically. So if I look at the past 365 days, just in that period, it's probably the worst year ever I've had. So I really have decided I need to time block. I need to get help. So I hired a company to actually cultivate my own database and actually make phone calls and things of that nature. And I'm looking at even new leads. I've always been against new leads because I've never worked my database enough. And I always believe you work your database first and leads second. So that's kind of the route I've always looked at. But now I'm actually looking at leads because somebody else can cultivate them for me and then let me know when they're hot and when I need to reach out to them. Miss anything? I think everybody talked on that. Go on to the next question. When your business is falling behind, like I just mentioned, where do you go for a booster? How do you reset your mind, basically, when things just aren't going the way you want them to go? On that, how do you handle that? Because we all have that happen.
I'm happy to start there. I generally, when I'm kind of in a, like getting myself in a mind funk where I'm just like, okay, either tons of deals are going wrong or people are backing out or, what have you, I'll jump into where I feel most comfortable because I used to own restaurants and coffee shops in the Caribbean. So I'll go to a coffee shop or to a restaurant, sit at the bar, chat with people. And it just brings me back out of it. And, the conversation always comes around, what do you do? And then real estate. And then, of course, the market is the way it is. So you just found a crazy way to bring that in and start talking. And I always end up with a new client out of that. So it re-inspires me to remember why I do this business is to be out in the community and help them.
Okay, well, thank you. That helps me a little bit. Hey, Marla, what do you do?
So, and these are kind of talks I have with my team and my agents and stuff, because you do get a lot of new people starting out, getting going in real estate. I have 2 that I'm mentoring kind of right now. And, it's the same in our business. Like sometimes you'd have those peaks, ups, downs, or when the market really slows. I always say, so for them, it's going back to their sphere of influence. For me, it would be going back to past clients, because just touching base, like the simplest thing, like right now, everybody's in need of listing. So a great way to be, and even for right now, for anybody that people know, that's kind of what I'm telling the sphere is just really know that market in the area that person lives, and, go back, have your touch base calls with them. Facebook is great now because you can reach out to people, message people really conveniently, same with text messages, but just go back and start having some of those conversations again. Go back to people that you've sold homes to 5 years ago, their mortgage is coming up for renewal, where things could have happened now. They probably have a bunch of equity in their home. Are they looking for a change, or do they know somebody that's needing a change because we're in need of listings, because that's our market we're in right now. Having those kinds of conversations. Honestly, here, because I do new construction, going back and doing open houses. Like I've always been able to convert a lot of people into working with me through open houses. So that would be another place that I would go back to and make sure that I am putting time into open house situations.
Thank you. Yeah, I've gone back to doing more open houses myself because I've had a good conversion of doing that as well. Tim, how about you?
Yeah, I like open houses too. Now that you mentioned it, I usually go there with my associate, and she works the buyers, and I talk to the neighbors and sellers. So it works out really well. Especially, I mean, usually we only have one open house nowadays, but that first open house is always the best because the neighbors and the sellers come by. So, in regards to getting a booster and resetting the mind, usually I my go-to is I go to nature, and I find some good trails to hike and walk, and I get out of the business for, several hours, maybe several times during the week, and just, enjoy what's not in real estate. And that kind of clears my mind and gives me some perspective. I can, put it, I can reflect back into past situations where maybe a situation I'm in now was very similar to where I was many times in the past, and it always worked out great. And so I then visualize and reflect on how it will work out great, and things will, end up the way they did before. And if you haven't been there, you could just visualize that things that will just work out the way that you want them to work out. I also like to call past clients or sphere of influence, the people that, really loved my service or really like working with me, and chat with them, because when you call them, they're like, hey, what's up, and I remember this and that about the deal, and then it's the family and other things too, but that gives me a boost as well. So that's my go-to.
Yeah, I should probably start spending a little bit more time in nature and just decompressing, because I'm always go, 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 go. Luann, I think we haven't talked to you yet.
Yeah, well, I'm with you, Andy. We should go out and enjoy nature a little bit more. Tim, that was a good reminder. I lean heavily on my coach to remind me how blessed I am. So I look forward to that session. And I also lean heavily on my gratitude journaling, and just keep reminding myself how blessed we really, really, really are, even though we have challenges, just like any business owner, and keep pushing forward. And I'm so grateful to have a bunch of ICON agents around me in my area that we can network with and actually meet face to face now. And I do heavily rely on the groups of people that I've gotten to know through real estate, the Asian Real Estate Association. I've been on the board for 12 years, and so some of those people all across the country that have joined EXP are also people that I lean heavily on just to hang out, chat, have fun, and sometimes talk business.
Okay, those are all good ideas. I have the same problem fairly often, and what I do usually is I go to motivational speaker tapes or recordings. Tapes, I'm aging myself. Nobody listens to tapes anymore. But motivational speakers, National Association of Realtors recordings, I listen to all of those every year. My car is my university, so I also listen to ebooks and things of that nature, and how to better myself and improve myself. I'm not big on or on fiction. I'm more on motivational speakers and things of that nature. I mentioned nature. That's something I feel like I should do more, because if I'm just looking at my business all the time, I never have a chance to decompress. So I think I need to do a little bit more of that. Gratitude thing is interesting. So when people ask me now, how my day is, I've noticed that my first thing is to start rattling off my complaints. And then I think about how well I've got it this second. And so now I'm getting in the habit of getting closer to reminding myself of all the good things that are going on in my life, so that I'm not a complainer and things of that nature. So thinking about, what I'm grateful for helps my mind in that split moment get myself right. But the long-term stuff is more motivational speakers, and probably if I spend more time in nature, that'll help as well. All right. And that goes right into a segue to where do you invest in yourself, in your education / coaching? Do you have coaches, for example? Do you listen to speakers? Do you go to things like these ICONversations? What is everybody doing here? Vanessa, can you start us off?
Sure. For years, I've always done outside of the box sort of motivational stuff. I've always listened to podcasts. In the morning, every morning I walk 4 miles. So I either put a book on, listen to Pep Talk, which is a great app. I have Tony Robbins events. Not only do I go to the ones that are like we're having here in Dallas with Build, but I'm also doing the virtual Tony Robbins event. And I have 4 agents that we're coming together, renting a Airbnb, and we're going to submerge ourselves. So it's agents and people that I work very closely with. So we're all on the same page. I think that if you have someone also that becomes your kind of right-hand compadre that you talk all the time with everything in real estate, that also helps. So like you, I do the books, all of that, and find any way I can to enrich myself. But I don't necessarily do it through just real estate means. I usually reach outside of our industry to look and to mentors and so forth, because I think they shed so much light on just business and self-development.
I could not agree with you more. I listen to a lot of those things like Good to Great, that are just fantastic, that are outside the industry. Okay, how about you, Marla? Do you do any of this?
I'm not a big person on, like I don't hire a real estate coach. I have done, some Buffini training. The Tony Robbins stuff, I've done some of that before. I really try to pull it back, kind of like how you were saying, going into nature and taking it in that way. So I do have a bit of she's a life coach, body talk practitioner. So the big thing for me is just bringing things down to a place of peace and calmness. Because I go, my mind go all the time. So I feel like that is really what helps keep me grounded. That gives me my space, is making sure, I am always making time for my family and doing the things that bring me joy. Obviously, I get joy from, what I do. I absolutely love real estate, but just taking that time for myself. Every day I'm a gratitude worker as well. So I always like to, have my gratitude thoughts in the morning, and as a family, like what we're grateful for. And I just feel that always helps keep me on track and keep my business going. Obviously, these icon things, everything I can do within the company when we have certain speakers, always taking advantage of that. And we have a really good team. I have one lady on my team. She's an icon and she sells over 200 homes herself. And just kind of surrounding myself with great people in the community, other amazing women, and business people that, kind of exceed what I would think would be basic expectations in their field, and just, asking them how they get where they go, how do they find balance in their life. And so that's kind of how I do things. I don't really sign up or pay for coaching in a certain way. I kind of do it on my own.
Fantastic. I've done a few of those coaching methods before too, and more about that in a second. Tim.
Yes.
How about you?
Yes. I do several things. I used to love motivation a lot, and I go to that now and then. But my people I used to go to was like Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn, and they're no longer around, so there's no new messages. But man, I used to listen to them nonstop. I mean, they always had good ways to make your mind think differently, and I just love that about them. And I just haven't found people I've really connected with. And I go to the podcast and I listen to people I don't know, and occasionally I find someone that I'll stick with for a little bit. Other things I do is I generally always have coaches in my life. So I have someone helping me with either my life and spirituality and or my business and numbers and expanding or balance. I also have a group, mastermind group with a mentor where, we talk about investments and how to, again, create passive income through partnerships and that sort of thing. So all that helps. I like to travel, so a lot of times I'll go to events, and that's my way of taking time off. I probably work too much, but I'll just hop on a plane and go to Florida for 4 days, or Idaho, or, just get out of town. And another thing I do is I've had accountability partners for like 25 years. Like I have these two accountability partners. We're just like best friends at this point, and one in SoCal and one in Georgia, and we talk about every week or 10 days, and we're always trading ideas and thoughts. What's the market doing? What are you doing new? And that sort of thing. How are you lead gen? Are you generating leads? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And then how are you doing it? So accountability partners can be a really good thing. And I'm just always striving for balance and spirituality. So those are the things, trying to, and it's hard for me. I tend to push into work, and so I have to really push myself to get out in nature and get on a plane and get out of town and take some time off, etc. So those are the things that I concentrate on. I hope that helped.
Yeah, that certainly helps me. It reminds me to go back to, those old guys too, because Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, and book like How to Win Friends and Influence People, going over those and rereading them and re-listening to those speakers sometimes is fantastic. Actually, Zig Ziglar's one of the things one of his quotes is how I try to live my life, and it's if you help enough other people get what they want out of life, you'll get what you want out of life. So that's fantastic. So
great quote. Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Luann, you.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same kind of thing. Listen to motivational speakers a lot. I have the YouTube Premium, so I don't have to listen to commercials. I use Audible, so I get the Audible books and listen to those. I do have coaches. I've always had a coach since I used to fly to Texas, actually, with NAEA, and I started out coaching with them. Jay Kinder, of course, everyone knows, has joined us, and I'm directly under Brent, and I actually did meet Brent Gove at an NAE event. We had both flown out in the same plane because he was speaking. I was just a newbie at that time, and that changed my life for sure. I do a lot of conferences, and just like Tim, it's kind of just for me to get away and just do something different, clear my mind, see somewhere else, and make new friends and reconnect with old friends. And I also think Tim was talking about is I have some accountability partners, and actually one of them that I used to call a lot, and we used to talk about business, actually met up at Tom Ferry events. I brought her on to EXP, and so she's become my best general, actually. And so that turned out very well. So we now don't just speak about business in general, but we talk about growing our EXP businesses together. So that has been fantastic.
Well, that's great. I like hearing what you all have said because it helps me think about things I've done in the past and things I should continue to do to reset myself. I have, like I said, a lot of motivational tapes and speakers and National Association of Realtors recordings. Because when I go to the National Association Realtor Conference, I just go and go through the vendors and then listen to the recordings. So I don't want to go and listen to them live because then I can stop the recording, rewind it, listen to it again, things of that nature. So I always buy the recordings and listen to Audible books and things of that nature. I have had coaches in the past. They're on and off coaches. I don't feel like I always have a coach. Right now I kind of have a coach because this company that's cultivating my leads for me is also coaching me, helping me be an accountable partner as well. It's a little bit different because I'm a managing broker, so my accountability is a little bit different because I can only do so much in a day, because being a managing broker for EXP is intense, if you didn't know. The point to mention about that, else just brought up. So I don't know. If I think about it, I have a personal board of directors. So I have a couple people that I trust will tell me the truth. They won't tell me what I want to hear in my life, and I will run things by them on whether I should spend money on something or hire somebody or let somebody go or anything big, major that's going on in my life, mostly related to business, but sometimes personal as well. And they give me feedback and they tell me what I should do, and those are trusted people. And sometimes I'm in their personal board of directors as well. So that's kind of some of the things that I do in regards to that. Well, this is not one of the ones I mentioned that I was going to talk about, but we have a little extra time. So why don't we talk about whether or not guys have formal goal setting systems or plans in place? That's something I personally have struggled to do. Some years I do it, and some years I don't. So the current company I'm with now has kind of forced me. It seems to me whenever I have a coach or an accountability partner in this area, then I end up doing it. If I don't, then I end up not doing it. So what about you, Vanessa? Are you a goal setter?
This is my favorite topic. I don't know if you know, but I've actually done several teachings in the world. It's called Am I a Go-Getter? So, and not a go-getter, but a goal-getter. So I am huge on goals. Every year I sit down with another agent. We've done it for about now, this will be 10 years that we sit down every September and we start going, okay, what are we going to do for next year? What does it look like? We line out our businesses. Like right up here, I have what my 2022 goals are. I have a hashtag this year. My hashtag is abundant, limitless, and gratitude. It has exactly what all of my goals are. And then I just start checking them off as I achieve them. So will be checking off 6-time icon agent. So, and it says right here by June 1st, 2022. So when you're talking goals, you are in my world, my realm. I teach it. I live by it. I eat it. I breathe it. It's my favorite topic. So.
Well, I guess I know where you stand on the topic.
Yeah, I love it. Like, I love it. If you were in my office, everything around it's like a walking vision board, my whole entire office. So anytime I'm sitting here, that's what I do.
Well, me and you need to get together. You need to help me on that. But I've never seen a study on this subject that says goal settings are a waste of time. I have never seen it. Every single study, whether it's people who set goals, whether they make more money or whether they're happier, there's no reason not to set goals, and especially for the amount of time. And yet I find myself not doing it every year. So
I think it just has to become a habit. Honestly, I mean, that's what I tell people. It just has to become a habit. It's like, okay, what you're saying you're going to do right now, and do it in sprints. I start out with a 10-year, 5-year, then a 3-year, then a 1-year, then 90 days. So every 90 days there's a sprint. So what is it this year? This 90 days, have I achieved what I was going to do? So I make sure that I'm hitting my year goals. So I go all the way out to 10 years and then bring it back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's fantastic.
I love to teach the topic. So if any of y'all ever want it, I'm happy to help.
All right. I'm writing down your name. Meeting people. So, Marla, how about you? Are you a setter?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I haven't done a vision board for a while. I kind of update the ones I have ongoing in the home. I think, yeah, definitely everyone should be setting goals. You should have your personal goals, kind of family goals, career goals. And, I do kind of set them every year. What do I want my year to look like? What do I want my month to look like? And then I'm obviously tracking that. Where am I at with my deals? Where am I at with, the goals that we have for our family, or what are our vacations that we have set out? It's what keeps me motivated. That's why I haven't really needed a coach for things like that. I'm really self-motivated to make those things happen for myself. So it's not that I, have an accountability partner I find that I've tried to do that in the past, or I've had someone check in where I'm, kind of doing a mentorship weekly or monthly. And I find that actually stresses me out and I'm less likely to do it, which is really strange because that's usually the opposite of what happens for people. But when I don't know, it gives me a different pressure and then I don't enjoy it. So for me personally, I didn't like having that accountability. I like just challenging myself and making it happen that way. So that's kind of how I do things.
Fantastic. Tim, how about you?
Yes, what I do is I set goals every year. There's this coach locally that I use off and on to help track my numbers and guide me through my year, to improve it or to add other things. So I'll meet with her periodically, but she has a yearly class that I always go to in this beautiful, beautiful place called Tilden Park in this little private bungalow or just beautifully set. So what a great place to go do goals. It's an all-day event with lunch. And then I take those goals and I type them into my to-do list in my computer that I can access through my phone or computer. And also I type a separate to-do, which is my affirmations. So then, because I always never, I do my goals and then I rarely look at them. So now, not that I look at them every day, but now it's my to-do list every day and I move it forward, read it, move it forward, so I might move it forward 3 or 4 days, then read it. But it just keeps it top of mind with the beautiful affirmations I put together that really reflect into my life and that sort of thing. So that's how I do it.
Fantastic. Hey, Luann, how about you?
Hey, Andrew, I'm right on par with you. Oops. And I can't wait to hear more of Vanessa's. I know how important having those goals are, and I do have them up every now and then, depending on the year and what class I got into, but I've hit a little bit of a stumbling block in my personal life, so things kind of went south for a while, and I need to get back on track for sure for 2022 because my year has been a little bit crazy.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything they want to add?
How about how you move through your day? Do you use assistants? What kind of appointments do you go on? And other things of that nature.
Sure, Vanessa, you want to start us out?
Okay, go back to the question again, because I think I missed part of it because it bleeped out for a second.
How do you move through your day in regards to appointments and to-dos and things like that? And do you have an assistant? I think also a lot of people are interested in social media, so you might want to touch on that too.
Okay. Well, I'm not as structured as all the people like that. I do have a calendar where I keep everything in my appointment that's inside my phone. And then I have a written calendar. I'm really old school like that. So that way I can make sure that I'm staying on top of the things that are very important. I'm not big on social media other than, I have just kind of a positive motivational thing that I do every day, and it's just how I live my life. So that's what you'll see most of. I am hiring a company that is going around and doing assets for me right now. Do I understand what to do or how to use them? No, not yet, but I'm getting there to do that. So again, I kind of hire out for that because it is not my forte. My forte is one-on-one and being with people versus kind of all of this other stuff. Sometimes I find it too much noise, but my day to day, I just keep in a calendar and I try to stay on track as much as I can just with appointments. But, like today I'm getting a ton of texts because I have a 70-year-old listing seller who I have to take all the appointments and then call him one by one because he doesn't have a smartphone or anything like that. So, it's, you take as your day as you get sometimes, Well, so that's kind of how I flow. I know if that makes any sense to people.
Me. I'll quick chime in a little bit with, I have an assistant and my workday is, because I'm a managing broker, it's constant. I mean, I've got to have every minute scheduled on my calendar. Otherwise, things don't get done. And there's never enough time in the day to get it all done when you're a managing broker. So, and then I've got to run my regular business on top of that. So I gotta manage it. It's got to be scheduled. It's got to be structured, or I just can't function. So, Marla, how about you?
I'm kind of the same way. I do have a full-time assistant working 40 hours a week, so I cannot imagine my life without them. It's funny how they always say, yeah, and I put it off for years. It's like you kind of hire people to do different things in your business, but not one full actual assistant. I did that for a long time. And like literally that was a game changer for me when I just hired someone to fill that void. I can never go back. And it definitely has made me more, because sometimes I get overwhelmed. I'd have so much on the go that now I just push so much of all that paperwork, everything straight to them. They know exactly what they're doing, that sometimes I'd almost not want sometimes more deals, because I was like, how am I going to process all this? This is just more stuff I got to take on. So like even your energy in a day would feel a little bit defeated, because you know how much other stuff you have in the background to do after hours. So I just absolutely love how that changed my business. I'm not big, I don't do podcasts or things like that in social media, but where I am located, I was one of the first people, to establish my own website, which was like, Marla at marlajansen.com. I started online kind of, setting up a bit of social media before it was a thing. I don't focus on a lot. I don't ever pay, to pull leads or anything through that. But I do now have somebody that does that for me. I do pay someone to do posts weekly for me, post my listings. I've also, in all my listings that I take on, I always hire a professional photographer. I do professional drone photography on every listing, and I do a professional listing video on them. So that kind of sets me apart in the market, especially in a busy market right now where things are just selling like crazy. I still do offer that and do that for all of my clients. So all of that kind of gets shared out on social media and stuff as well. For the day, I'm not extremely structured. I obviously look at what does my week look like? What do I need to accomplish? What are my appointments for the week? I schedule everything in, even if it's time with family, sporting events for the kids. You definitely book those in as well. Every morning, my partner and I, it's kind of funny, we call ourselves old fogies because we have coffee together and play cards. And it's kind of our thing just to connect in the morning, because days and evenings and everything tend to be so busy. And we love outside, so we have a pool. So we're excited now that it's kind of pool season. We can go out and do our coffee and cards outside in the morning and connect that way. But it's just, it's so great with technology now. Like I said, I've done this a long time. So before we didn't even have computers really, but with, the Apple system, just to keep everything always connected. Everything's kind of on my phone. I use my phone for a lot, even doing deals, everything. It just seems like it works so well. I love our EXP program through SkySlope, that I can, kind of be anywhere and work on a deal. I closed and got a deal together at my son's baseball game the other night at a $1.1 million property. And so I love that it's so technology based and it's easily available to do those kind of deals on the go.
Okay, fantastic. I think we're going to go to Luann next, and let Tim close us out towards the end here. So, Luann, how about you?
Kind of got lost here. So, talking about social media, I guess I've started
social media, and if you have an assistant, and
I've had a full-time assistant for 10 years, and I think that without that, I would have had a nervous breakdown. I don't know. I'm just kidding. But it was a game changer, and has changed my life. And I put a lot on her plate. I've had more than several changes, but the one I have now has been with me for quite some time. And she just keeps my life together, my calendar nice and tidy and neat. And I do use my phone for everything, just like everyone else. And one of the things that I've been using recently is the giant, on my phone anyway, the tasks list that you can use on your Google Calendar that transfers over to your phone. And it's this big block on the side of my phone. So as soon as I open my phone, I have a My Task list that's been transferred over from my Google Calendar that has really helped me remember stuff on the fly that I said I was going to do for somebody, and I stick it on that task list. So that task list has been very helpful for me, not to have everything flying around, floating in my brain, to do that I have told somebody on the fly, because I'm not good at remembering 30 things that I said I was going to do. So that's been a great additional help that gets shared with me and my assistant also, on the fly. As far as social media, I've just started doing YouTube a little more. I feel like I'm always trying something new that I've learned somewhere, but getting that social media out there is obviously super important. I did win Agent of the Year award, which was quite unexpected, but it's forced me out there. And I actually was interviewed on TV for winning Agent of the Year, and that Rate My Agent actually flew me out to Inman last month. So that just made me all of a sudden in the spotlight, and I thought, I've got to use this on social media. So now that thing is just being blasted out everywhere. So we'll see how that goes. And this is the first time that I'm buying leads, quote unquote, buying leads, paying for advertising just because I got that. So we'll see how that goes, because mostly my business has been referral also. And my sphere is very, very important to me, but I do have this new little buyer's agents that need more leads than I have. So we are trying this now.
All right. So before Tim goes, I just want to let everybody know I'm popping out at 11:30 because, like I said, everything's on my calendar and I've got an appointment right after this. Tim, do you need to leave right away?
No, I'll be fast. So
okay, well, you can go. You go ahead and and for however long you want to talk. And anybody wants to stay, on the panel here and answer questions, feel free. There are some questions in the notes as well. But if you have to get out of here, we respect your time as well. Go ahead, Tim.
Thank you, Andrew. You want to use assistants to increase your productivity. That's one thing. Also, you don't want to chase shiny objects, because in real estate, you get 10 calls a day with the new shiny object, or you get the emails. So you got to be really careful and kind of find what works and then follow that through and just stick to it for years. Mostly, that's kind of what I do. I like to be belly to belly with clients. I have assistants that help me do everything else. I have one lady that she just keeps me on track. It's time to go. Here's your stuff. Leave. Here's your book. Here's your CMA. Here's whatever you need. Go, go, go. And then she also, will pick things up, drop things off, warranty stuff or things that break, she fixes. So she also helps me with my personal life as well as my business, so that I can just, be on appointments. So I don't have to do all the stuff I don't like to do. I also have a couple other assistants. One's licensed and she talks Chinese, and we have a lot of Chinese buyers and sellers. So we can hit that market as well as the English market. I have several other assistants. One helps me with marketing and advertising and admin, and another one helps me with who's in the Philippines. She helps me with social media and miscellaneous tasks and projects. We're also looking for apartment buildings to buy in different states. So the one that helps me on a day-to-day basis in the office is also searching for properties to buy, and we have to look at a bunch to find one we'd be interested in. And then I have the one in the Philippines actually analyze them for me. She's very good with books and numbers and that sort of thing. So I just try to delegate everything out so I can be with clients most of the time. And of course, a TC, everyone needs a TC. What I would like to do in social media, because I don't get much business at all from social media. I keep trying it, but I guess I'm just failing in that aspect. I'd like to try live Facebook, put out like what's going on in the marketplace, so people can know what's, the statistics are, and probably some live events like how to sell your home in a market where interest rates are going up, or how to prepare your home for sale. So I'm looking at those couple things. I just think you need to be belly to belly and working with clients and be on appointments and get rid of all that other stuff. So I hope that helps everyone. And if you have any questions, I'll stick around for a couple of minutes in the chat box. I don't know if anyone else is here. You guys,
I
are
can
you?
stick around for a couple minutes, but I also have a meeting that I got to jet to in like 5 minutes. So if anybody else has anything else, I'm with
Perfect.
you, Tim.
Okay, I'm here too. If anyone has anything.
I don't use any virtual assistants. I'm a face-to-face person, so I don't have any of those.
My
How about
virtual
you,
assistant.
Tim?
My virtual assistant's in the Philippines. I pay her $5 an hour, and she does. She probably works for me sometimes as little as 20 or 25 hours a week. Sometimes as much as 60, because sometimes we're cleaning farm lists or getting phone numbers for people on farms, and then she actually calls them, and other things like that.
Do
Which
you
I
use
just
a company, an outsourcing company, or you just found her out of the blue?
She was referred to me. I mean, there's a lot of companies out there in the Philippines
Exactly.
who work for about that fee. If you like, feel free to email me. I'll email her contact because she works with a team. So she has, a team of assistants, and I'd be happy to share that with you.
Perfect.
All right, guys, I got to jump. I got people asking me if I can give them a call. So thanks so much. I always love this with everyone. Vanessa, what was the book that I wrote? Well, I was in Tom Ferry's book, but I do a lot of stuff with like Goal Getter, The Alchemist Project, Becoming Your Inner CEO. So these are all different courses I've done and written. So more stuff like that versus books.